Hello everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. A couple of days late, unfortunately, but it's the holiday season, and hopefully by next week things will get back to normal. It's a very short week this week when it comes to the big two. Michael has 90% of Marvel, actually 95%, and then I have basically a lot of DC.
Yep. So we're going to start off with a new series that I decided to try. It's a versus book of Thanos versus Hulk issue number 1.
I did look through it. I like the artwork a lot.
Yeah, but the story... I was a little 50-50 on the story, but it's the first issue. I mean, I have to admit, there were some parts that were very interesting, like, Iron Man is looking for where the Hulk is, and, actually, Pip, who was a former X Factor member, is in this book, and he looks like this, by the way, for those of you who might or might not know him. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and they're trying to find where he is, and they put a tracker on him, but they seem to have lost where he was. So Pip, along with these other people, have captured the Hulk, and Pip has a way of controlling the Hulk, of like not to attack and all this.
Basically, it knocks him out.
It knocks him out, and we learn a little bit about where Bruce Banner goes into when he turns into the Hulk in like a negative zone, and I thought that was pretty cool. Learning about that. And then Pip goes to Thanos saying how he, needs his help and everything with all this other stuff, like basically to assist him in what's going on. And you can read the whole story if you want to know more about it when you get the comic book. And in the end, I mean, who didn't see this coming? Thanos sees the Hulk, goes in the negative zone, and then they meet and encounter for the first time. Now, this is a 4-part miniseries. I'm going to get all 4. But I am telling you right now, if it turns out to be all talky and no fighting, I really am not sure. I really wasn't crazy about the first issue. It was a good starting point a little bit. But other parts I was like, okay, and your point? And another one that actually was also a little bit average, and to be shocking, Iron Fist, The Living Weapon, issue number 7. Now, this story was, like, all over the place. Like, it talked about Daniel's backstory, but before we get into that, it goes into where he's fighting against these army of men who have captured him, and he can't use the Iron Fist to...
His hands are broken.
His hands are broken, right. He's powerless. And here's some artwork, basically, to show you that. And they go back to the past where he trains with... oh, her name always escapes me. She basically is the one that helps him out with all the training and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a little bit of a talky scene with each other. I mean, you can find out the whole book because the name really escapes me as of now. And then there's this whole other point of it that I don't want to really explain because it would give a little bit too much away. So when we look at more about the Iron Fist and then him just fighting against other things, they gave him a new weapon, actually, that controls the arms. Yeah, that's where I was like, oh dear. He's looking just like the other people. That's where I was a little bit... I don't know what words to think of right now after I saw that.
Drop is one word.
If it stays this way with him with the arms like that, then yeah. I just couldn't believe what I was reading.
Alright, my one book from Marvel this week is The Legendary Star-Lord, issue number 6. It's date night for Peter and Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde. And I'm sure Cat loved this book because Kitty Pryde was on literally almost every single page until the end. So what's happening is... Peter is on a date with Kitty Pryde. However, the Slaughter Squad, Mr. Knife's group, is trying to kill Peter. And basically he's supposed to be having this normal date night with Kitty. And he notices them all throughout everywhere him and Kitty Pryde, the hologram Kitty Pryde, go. And every time something happens, he makes up some type of lame excuse to why something's going wrong. One time he's at an ice skating rink and he passes her off to somebody else for a moment. Another time they're at an opera and he passes her off. He kind of like, oh, what did he say with the opera? I forgot what the opera. Oh, he jumps down underneath the seat and he makes it look like he's giving her a flower. Just a bunch of things, and everything's going wrong. And just when you think when Kitty Pryde's about to hang up on him and say it's done, he pulls this moment out where it's like, you know what, okay, fine, I'm not going to avoid them. I'm not going to try to escape anymore. I'm just going to have a 5-minute moment with my girlfriend. He does. Unfortunately, the end result is he gets captured by them, and basically Kitty Pryde finds out, like, he's like, you know, I've been trying to avoid them, but now to spend 5 minutes with you, I allowed myself to be open. He gets captured, and now Kitty Pryde's going into space to save him. One thing that is revealed in this book that I am not going to reveal in this review is we find out who Mr. Knife is. And yeah.
I cannot believe I just saw that.
And of course this is leading into the gigantic crossover between Star-Lord, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the all-new X-Men. So, let's hope that this crossover is a little bit better than the previous Guardians of the Galaxy, all-new X-Men crossover.
Alright, and this is my book of the week from Marvel. All New X-Factor, Access issue number 17. 3 more issues left to go before the final issue, and I'm not too happy about that. At all. So, getting into the book now, it's basically, Longshot and Sunfire, they've returned, but they're very, very different than they were before. Like, they're just going against the X-Factor team and something like that. So, here's some artwork, which is, as always, classic X-Factor-like. And Longshot and Quicksilver have a fight with each other, and he's just trying to find out what's going on, with Longshot. And, there's just so many other things that are happening, and it's just chaotic all over the place. Like, Sunfire, protects Longshot, what?
I'm just reading this.
Yeah, so he protects him like it's, it's like they're like both teams. Like if one gets knocked out, one comes, back, and you can't basically kill Sunfire. And Longshot basically does some killing too, and that's actually really something. And Georgia gets the upper hand until Sunfire comes in, and they want to just get the girl because of the power that happened. And they're looking for they're after the X Factor, both of them, because they're looking for that football nuke thing, and they want to just take it away so that way they don't use it to cause mass destruction and all that other stuff. And somebody kind of, if it doesn't look like it, almost made a sacrifice, or made a sacrifice, and somebody else comes in the ending. 3 more issues to go. It's going to be really intense. Book of the week. Definitely Peter David's he's got it every issue. It's just amazing.
Alright, the next 2 books are part of God Hand. Sinestro, issue number 7. This is the Lego variant. Obviously, it was supposed to come out last month. Obviously, it must have gotten a week delayed or something. But Sinestro and John Stewart are setting up an attack on New Genesis. And this book has lots of dialogue, and it has Sinestro chasing after the woman he fought from New Genesis. And we find out at the end of the book he wants to offer her a place in his corps instead of fighting for the High Father. Saranic is being questioned. Her loyalty with the Green Lanterns is being questioned because she stayed with the Sinestro Corps. And she's not only questioned, but she's basically branded a traitor. And she gets pissed off and flies off and says, "What's going on is Sinestro's my responsibility." You can see that this is kind of Saranic's way of sort of slowly becoming a member of her father's corps and leaving the Green Lanterns. And really that's all you really get in this book. And then you have Sinestro and John Stewart, who, thanks to Indigo 1, teleport to New Genesis, and then they get trapped. I say that because in the next issue of Green Lantern, guess what? They're now trapped. By the way, this is the variant cover. They're trapped on this planet that I believe surrounds New Genesis, and you got Hal Jordan enlisting the help of Black Hand to help the Lanterns fight against New Genesis.
Black Hand?
And after a long dialogue, him and Black Hand end up facing Orion at the Source Wall. which is not a good idea when it comes to Black Hand. The artwork is pretty nice, so I will say that. Because the source wall is just basically one gigantic graveyard, or limbo. And guess who can attach to the graveyard? Black Hand. And that's kind of where it leaves off. And you finally start seeing that Black Hand actually is strong against the new gods, because one of the soldiers actually gets trapped in the source wall, thanks to the ghosts from Black Hand. But again, I'm basically reading this series just to see how this is going to end, because at this point I'm just not enjoying God Hand. I just need to know how it ends. So I feel like you know when you're reading a gigantic book and you're almost at the end and you're just literally looking, you're reading the dialogue, but you're reading it so fast that some of the dialogue just isn't hitting you, and you just want to see how it's going to end and then just be done with it. At this point with God Hand, I just want to be done with it. So we are in the last month now. December is the end of God Hand. There's a big one-shot, I believe, at the end of the month. It's one of the, as you guys know, December has 5 Wednesdays, and whenever there's 5 Wednesdays in a month, DC releases 5 annuals on the 5th week.
And
one of the annuals is a Green Lantern book, and that's where the entire God Hand series is going to end. Joy. So I have to finish it. I have to finish it, and then when it's done, I'm done with the Green Lantern books for a time.
Alright, great book from DC Comics. I'm going to start with Green Arrow, issue number 37. Green Arrow is really amazing. And this was actually... I'm going to spoil what happened in the end. There's a reason why. But basically it's Black Hand against the Black Arrow? Is it? Yeah. And this Flash is just... wow. Like, just really... the artwork is just, each and every time, just really great. And, he knows that Green Arrow's Oliver Queen.
Oh, I wonder,
yeah. And then we get the whole thing with Katana. And if you want to find out that, definitely read the book. So, they're basically trying to find out from this new girl, what's her name? Like John King's daughter, I can't remember what her name is, but basically she talks about a whole list that her father has kept on the data thing, and he wants to find out like how he got it and everything. So they go to this fundraiser, and he meets the guy who's the Black Arrow, you know, and the other stuff, and lots of things get a little bit too out of hand, and in the end, when Diggle, Oliver Queen, and the other girl that he's working with get thrown out, spoiler alert, someone comes to save them. Green Lantern.
So we might actually be getting a Green Lantern, Green Arrow
yeah.
team up in the New 52.
That's... and he called before time because he knew he was going to get thrown out for some odd reason. So, wow. Just... Green Lantern and Green Arrow, that's very... it's going to be a green month, I have a feeling, for the both of them.
Alright, next we have Action Comics number 37. Again, the variant cover. I'm getting all the cooked variant covers because I love his artwork. Great job. Wish he would come back for another book. So Superman's still trapped in Smallville. He's trying to break free so that he can reach out to the outside world and bring the Justice League or somebody back. There's a flashback which kind of connects to what's going on now, and we're still kind of in the dark about it, and we're in the dark by the end of the book too, in a way. Basically, everybody's basically living life normally, like nothing's going on, and Lana's starting to question it, and Superman's starting to question it, and Hero actually gets sucked into the mist by an unknown entity. We find out at the end who. So now Superman and Steel are going off to find out what the source of the mist is, what's causing what's going on in Smallville. And it turns out a select group of people actually have these superhuman powers that they're trying to use on Superman to stop him from doing something, and we don't know what yet. And then it turns out basically they're trying to stop him from reaching out to the monster that apparently has Hero and is causing all the problems in Smallville. I don't know if it's going to be revealed that they were trying to keep him cooped up or hidden, or they were trying to keep the monster from reaching out to the rest of the world. I don't know, but the story is starting to kind of lose me. I mean, I understand they want to show the dynamic between Lana and Superman right now because Lana's parents died, and they're still connecting to Doom, and he's got the beard still and everything. But god damn, I hope that they finish this story already because it's starting to lose me a little bit. The grip of the story is starting to really just lose me. So I hope that the next issue basically concludes this story arc because it's starting to loosen up a bit. Like, that tight knot, it's starting to loosen and it's not good. I read this too.
Yeah, Gail Simone's story, Secret Six, issue number 1.
I was told to get into this book pre-New 52 and I didn't because I knew the New 52 was coming. But this time around I jumped in. I wasn't a fan of the artwork at first, very sketchy.
Really, I liked it.
A little sketchy at the beginning, but then it got better. You get introduced to Catman.
Right.
Early in the book. And
it's Thomas Blake, actually.
Thomas Blake is Catman.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And obviously his powers are a little bit different than the pre-New 52. He kind of loses control a little bit. He gets knocked out, and then he ends up in this cell with 5 other people.
Right.
And basically he can't escape. There's no way to get out, and you get introduced to who the 5 people are. I forgot. I know one of them's a ventriloquist. They introduce each other little bits at a time.
Yeah, like Big Shot. I think that's his name, is it?
I think so. Keep going. Turn one more. And they start introducing next. They have to basically answer a question in order to be released, and they get these masks.
And it's what is the secret? That's basically what they're trying to solve. And, one is Styx. One is the ventriloquist. Turn. Forgot her name. Strix?
Alice Black. Strix.
Yeah.
Alice Black, the ventriloquist. And I can't remember the guy that can make himself big's name.
I think his name is Big Shot.
Maybe it is Big Shot.
Probably that, but...
So basically they're all trapped in this cell, and they have to answer this question or else they're going to die. And Catman starts to panic a bit, and he finds out they're underwater, and he's Catman, so he starts to freak out. And that's when the ventriloquist says, there aren't 6 of us, there's 7, and she pulls out her doll. And that's
but the reason why she did is because since there are 7... They said that a subject will have to be terminated since there's 7. So, it's just wow.
I think this was an excellent first issue. I love Catman, so it's nice to see him in the New 52, and we need a new plastic for that book.
Yeah. Gail Simone just delivered.
I think she delivered amazingly. Wow. I enjoyed this book. I thought it was a good first issue. That's why I kind of gave you from beginning to end. It's a nice first issue. It introduces you to the team. It sets up the book. What's going to happen, though? I have no clue. That's the one little minor thing is, I wish this book would have gone a little bit further to explain what's going to happen, really,
Maybe the next one might...
it's obviously going to explain a little bit more about who was in it, but you know what? It's a good hook.
Yes.
To keep you reading. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it this week. And before we get into the weeklies really quick, Earth 2, issue number 29. In the last issue of World's End, Barbara Gordon was struck by a meteor or something like that, and we don't know what happened. It said to be continued in Earth 2. And like I said, Earth 2 is just going to be backup stories. And the artwork is really good. You got Wildcat and you got Dick. They find Barbara. Barbara gets saved by this woman. We don't know who she is yet. And... her name is, I think it's Ludi Sugar, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Ludi Sugar. And she actually takes Dick and Barbara to, what's it called, Gamora. And the sun gets taken away. Barbara is being used as a sacrifice to a parademon, and basically Dick is forced to watch. And obviously the parademon escapes. Barbara doesn't get killed. Dick saves Barbara, and now they're off to save their son, and it says to be continued in issue number 9 of World's End. Again, Earth 2 is now just becoming a backup story to World's End. And as a matter of fact, I believe that what's his name is not on, Tom Taylor's not on the book anymore because now Taylor's not on the list anymore. Yeah. So... yeah, I'm not happy that Earth 2 is becoming a backup, but it was to be expected. I would have rather have seen Earth 2 canceled, so this way they would just focus on what's next, which is World's End issue 9, World's End issue 9, they find the real Superman. This is the third time already, okay? The first time they thought it was the real Superman, it was a clone, an evil clone, which died. The second time they thought they found Superman, it was a clone also, and they found a lab, a whole clone lab. Now they found Superman, the real Superman, the legit Superman, but he doesn't have his powers. And they're still looking for all the avatars, the leaders are still looking for their avatars. They find an avatar for the Blue finally, and Alan Scott saves his boyfriend, who still won't admit that he's his boyfriend. And it continues the story with Barbara and Dick Grayson. They save their son. We didn't see that coming. And they still, and back where Red Tornado is, they don't know where what's his name is. They don't know where Huntress is. And something, by the way, somebody does potentially die in this book out of all the stories I just told you. So, now the group is looking for Huntress. I'm not going to give away the ending with Jay. There is a part with Jay Garrick and Hawkgirl. Bombs are being placed on Apocalypse. Lots and lots and lots of stuff is going on. And it ends with Mr. Miracle unlocking something. And the ending is very interesting. He wants to find out whose son he truly is. He said, we're going to find out whose son I truly am today. And I think that's very interesting also. But, again, it's just interesting. Batman Eternal, issue number 35. Things just keep getting worse and worse for Batman. Hold on, I just lost the... Okay. Yeah. So, Batman now, Wayne Enterprises is officially disbanded, and Jason Bard now has all of Wayne Enterprises, and he also actually has Lucas Fox as well. And he's using Lucas Fox to apprehend and bring in finally Batman. And Vicky Vale is actually looking into Mr. Jason Bard because she doesn't trust him anymore, and I don't blame her, because Jason Bard is the reason, it could be the brains behind everything that's going on actually. So thanks to Lucas Fox, unfortunately, Jason Bard is able to break into Batman's Batmobile and able to take control of it. And endangering the entirety of Gotham City, basically, looks to destroy Batman. That's the long story of it, and I'm leaving out all the dialogue. Things just keep getting worse and worse for Batman, man. I can't wait to see how this all is going to end.
I like that you used man twice.
I mean, this issue, I just summed up the whole book like that. It was a quick read. I mean, the dialogue maybe took a little bit longer to read, but the way I explained it is the way the book went for me too. It's like, that's just it. That's all that happened in this issue, and obviously this is the downward fall of Batman, Bruce Wayne, everything, and now Bruce has to find a place to live. Right now he's living in the Batcave. Wayne Manor has been seized, so Alfred and his daughter had to cement wall up all the entrances to the Batcave, basically, so there's no way for anybody who's in the mansion to find the Batcave or any way into the Batcave. Obviously, when this is all said and done, we're going to have Batman for a while in this new lifestyle. Will it change in a year or two? I hope, because it's taking Batman out of the norm, and I mean, he was one of the few characters that wasn't changed in the New 52. Okay, and finally, Future's End issue number 31. The funeral for Ronnie Raymond is here. And Jason can't figure out how to separate himself from, I forgot her name, but what's his name? Tim's girlfriend. And they're struggling to get, not to get along as much as she's trying to figure out how to cope with being this new Firestorm, because now she's officially Firestorm, and she's not having a good time with that. Let's just put it that way. But the beginning of the book is Lois Lane talking about Cadmus Island and what's been going on, and basically finally revealing the truth. You get some dialogue between Green Arrow and Animal Man, which is really cool, and then we go to Superman for a little bit, who's being targeted actually by Brother Eye. And I love what John Constantine says by the end of this confrontation. And Superman's like, what do I need to do to stop this? And Constantine says, unfortunately, go home.
Huh.
So I don't know if John Constantine means go home as in go back to Krypton, or go home as in become Superman again. And then, of course, you get to see a little bit of Cadmus Island. And yeah, Cadmus Island is basically destroyed completely. And you got Faraday. He's looking for something on the island. So that's going to be interesting to see what he's looking for exactly. And that's basically, again, the entirety of this book. These, out of the 2 books this week, the 3 weeklies, Batman Eternal and Future's End for me felt like really quick reads. When it came to World's End, I felt like there was more to it. There was a lot going on. But, again, at least it was a little bit more dialogue, which kept me into the book a little bit more. But the weeklies, lately, for me, I don't know, maybe it's because we've been fed them so long. I mean, 31 weeks of Future's End, 35 weeks of Batman, and already 9 weeks of World's End. You know, we've been going through these books now, the weeklies, for almost a half a year, if not a half a year already. And it's like, you know, no, more than a half a year. There's 52 weeks in a year, and we're already at 35 for Batman.
Yeah, it's almost.
We've been going through it for a very long time. So I guess as we're going through them, as we're getting used to them, it's just the faster you can get through them, because a weekly book is something that, I don't know, I just feel like the weeklies for me, I leave them last to read because I feel like those are the books I get through the fastest.
Yeah.
So, is it because I'm reading faster, or is it because they're actually fast reads? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I mean, I'm enjoying them. For what they're worth, I am enjoying them, don't get me wrong. There are some ups and downs in both Future's End, and now a little bit in World's End and Batman Eternal. But at the most part, I believe they're average stories so far. The Batman story is just another Batman story.
Right.
Future's End and World's End is obviously leading into Convergence, which is coming in April and May, which is something I'm really looking forward to. So, you know, there's a lot going on with those 2 titles at least. At least those 2 are aiming for a specific event. Batman Eternal is literally just a 52-issue Batman story that's then going to lead into what's already going on in the Batman books. So,
yeah.
That's it for this review, guys. As always, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together, we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Feel free to leave comments below, likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations, and we will answer your guys' comments in the comments below. Answering comments is going to be a bit slow this month because it's the holiday season, but...
And in the beginning, we forgot to say that these comic books were released on December 3rd, 2014, the first week of December.
As always, once I catch up on descriptions, it'll all be there. I'm hoping that maybe... I am taking a... I'm going to be away for a bit... sometime close to the holiday season. I'm trying as fast as I can to catch up on the descriptions. So,
but at least I remember that. At least.
All right, guys. So take care. Keep reading. Keep collecting. We'll see you guys in the next review.
Later, everybody.